Hey there! I haven't done one in a while, so here's a gear review. And this time I am reviewing the outdoor product Sonora Hip Pack. So here we go. So right off the bat, one of the reasons why I will sometimes use a hip pack instead of a backpack is um, a lot of the times when I'm out there hiking, it's a short hike. It's a smaller one. I'm doing something like, say, in the morning before the heat hits, someplace local to where I live and things like that. And I do not need to carry a full. I've learned I don't need to carry a full even day pack with me because I'm only going to be out there for maybe 2-3 hours, and it's just not a requirement to have a full backpack with me. All I need is something to carry some basic stuff, maybe a couple of small snacks, my water, first aid kit, and whatever I would need, like for my phone and stuff like that. Like my charger things, and I usually, even on a short one, depending on where I'm going, I'll also be carrying a my GPS emergency beacon just in case. Because you just you don't know what kind of reception you're going to have with a phone. If I have full reception, awesome, I can call for help that way. But it's just good to have just in case, and also it helps track my mileage. So there we go. So I just need a smaller space to carry that basic stuff. I don't need necessarily a full backpack on my back, even a day pack, a full day pack for something shorter. So I started looking for some good hip packs and stuff. So I thought I had found one in the outdoor products Sonora hip pack because it looks pretty good when you first look at it in the store. It's got a smaller pocket in the front. It's got a large main compartment, and it's got a couple of small side compartments on the actual strap itself. And it has two nets on either side for water bottles, and comes with its own water bottles, though we'll get into that in a second. Trying to keep it brief. I field tested this for this review several places. I took it on a 5 to 5.5 mile hike up at the Black Diamond Regional Preserve. It's been with me on several nice walks around the Cosumnes River Preserve, several levee walks of around 5-ish miles, and I used it on my road trip that we went with family to Disneyland. 2 days in Disneyland, 1 day in California Adventure, and 1 day at Universal Studios. So field tested pretty well in, I want to say all that was within like 4 months time. So over a bit of time, not all at once, but within a certain amount of time. And unfortunately, I have found that this particular one, unfortunately, that I had, did not hold up for that amount of time. I mean, I literally bought this thing in March, I want to say, and I got it for just over $20, which is an okay price for outdoor gear, but still kind of up there. $20 is $20. I expect it to last through some of the basic stuff that it lasted through, and unfortunately, as you'll see from some of these pictures, it did not. The first major problem I had with it was the Disneyland trip. Well, number one, let's get before I started having actual physical problems with it. The water bottles it comes with are plastic water bottles. They're okay, but they are not insulated in any way, shape, or form. so they wouldn't do any good keeping my water cool or keeping it from heating up in the sun, and they were cheap plastic bottles, let's put it that way. The problem is, in order to replace those, to use actually good insulated or decent water bottles, you can't use the taller ones. They just don't work in the amount of webbing they put in there. Even with the straps cinching it down, if I'm in any kind of terrain where I'm having to do a little bit of climbing or getting around things over logs and stuff, which you're going to do on even day hikes and things like that, the water bottles will fall out. You can't do any kind of bending in it and things like that, even like I say, with the strap that cinches to the water bottle. So I ended up having to buy shorter insulated water bottles to put in there, and they worked okay. The straps would keep them in and things like that. But here's the problem that I discovered on day one of Disneyland. After a day at California Adventure working okay, by day one, the fact that I had to keep cinching those water bottles in, every time I took a drink of water and put it back in the thing, and I have to cinch it off. Eventually, after only 2 days, one day in California Adventure, and bear in mind other hikes and stuff like that too. But by the second day of our road trip in the parks, one of those cinching cords had ripped off on one side, so it was completely useless. I could no longer use that webbing, because at that point, even the shorter water bottle, if I did any kind of sitting or getting up and things, it was falling out. So half of its water carrying capacity became useless. And by the end of that trip, you'll see in the picture here, the actual handle on top of it that I would use, that if I had to take it off and set it somewhere and then pick it up and things like that, that started to come out of the seams and things like that. So this is something, this is gear, hiking gear, outdoor products, is their thing. This is supposed to be something I've been able to use for a while, and 4 months and some brief hikes, like maybe I want to say 4 or 5 hikes and walks in my local area, and a trip to the Southern California resort there, and it was basically useless. The top handle was tearing. One of the whatchamacallits had torn completely away. And that's after I had already had to modify what I was carrying. I couldn't carry as much water in the sides because it couldn't handle a high water, a taller water bottle without falling out all the time, even with the cinching. So it just didn't work for me as far as what my needs are for, like, just basic walking around, minor stuff. Maybe it'll work all right for you and stuff like that. But if you're doing actual day hikes with it and things like, I need to use it for, and even like I say, on a decent vacation, carrying things and stuff like that, this one just didn't work. I'm going to give it, because it did work okay for a short time, I'll give it 2 out of 5 stars. But for just over $20, I expected to get more than I did from it. So unfortunately, this particular product didn't work for me. I usually like, I give honest reviews, and I usually like to give good reviews on products. I like to find good products, but unfortunately, this is not one. I'm going to have to go back to the drawing board and find yet another hip pack if I want to get out there with a hip pack. Otherwise, I still have my trusty backpack and things like that. So there you go. That's the Outdoor Products Sonora Hip Pack semi-brief review. Hope it helps you if you need any decisions and stuff like that. And again, this is my personal opinion. It's a review based on the actual product that I had and field tested in several hikes. That's you know, how it worked out for me. I have had other outdoor products, different ones that have worked fine and served their purpose and things like that. Just unfortunately, this one just did not. So there you go.